I hear one of the craziest lies a man ever told me. So I dated this guy. We broke up. We were considering getting back together. He comes over one day, brings me like flowers or something, and then leaves because he knows that I have a friend coming over. One of my best friends. I'm planning to talk to that friend about whether or not I should get back together with my ex. My friend's over for like 3 hours. We have a really long talk, a really honest talk, and my friend leaves. My ex texts me. He's like, good night, whatever. The next morning though, he calls me and he's like, hey, we need to talk. I think we need to do it in person. I'm gonna come over. So he comes over and he tells me the weirdest story. He's like, I went to a Renaissance fair years ago and I met a powerful intuitive, which if you're like me and didn't know what the that meant, it's kind of like a psychic, except they can't tell the future. They just know things. So for example, he said at this Renaissance festival, he put a crystal into the hand of this intuitive because he wanted to know like what powers it had or something. And the intuitive was like, ooh, this has dark energy. Like, are you dating the person who gave this to you? And he was like, yeah, I am. And he was like, oh, she's married. And then my ex said he went and investigated, and lo and behold, the girl that he was dating was in fact married. So I'm like, okay, what does this have to do with me? He goes, well, I haven't heard from him in years, but this morning he called me out of the blue. And the intuitive told him that he'd gotten, I don't know, an intuition about the conversation I'd had about him last night. And then my ex proceeds to interrogate me about the 3-hour conversation I'd had in private in my home the night before, point by point, chronologically. And it wasn't vague stuff. Like at one point I brought up Chris Evans and an article that he had done where he talked about balancing his home life and his work life. He asked me about that. It was just too specific. He was using the exact phrases that I had used. He may as well have been in the room, okay? So I'm answering questions, but then I'm like, you know what? I actually don't have to answer questions about a private conversation that I had with someone I trust about a decision I'm trying to make. You need to fucking leave. So he leaves, and I'm like, surely a psychic didn't fucking tell him that. I believe in some wooey shit, but just no. Long story short, I have a team come and sweep my devices, okay? They're looking in my house for bugs. They're checking my internet router for inbound, outbound hackers, all of it. And they don't find anything. But you know what's missing? There's footage missing from my dog Ring camera that I kept in the living room for almost the whole time my friend was there. Just deleted, gone. I never got a login attempt. I never got a 2-factor authentication, which I had turned on. I have no idea how he could have tapped into that without leaving a digital trace, which is terrifying. I also had an Amazon in the room and one in my kitchen, and there was some weird stuff going on with those too. Like my Alexa was hooked up to my TV and at one point it just turned on. Anyway, I couldn't prove that he spied on me, but I was pretty sure that's what happened, so I'm being super distant. And then I'm going through a box of stuff and some of his mail is in there. Opened mail though. It was weird. And one of them is from the Church of Scientology, which is how I learned that in the Church of Scientology, they teach you how to hack people. Like what? I also didn't know he was a Scientologist. Anyway, I don't have an Alexa or a Ring camera in my house anymore.